Robert Kiyosaki is the author of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he really changed the landscape of financial education with his book because he taught you how to become rich. But one of the things that kind of got lost in the cracks was the difference between being rich and being wealthy. What's up, everybody? I am Jaspreet Singh from theminorityMindset.com and welcome to The Minority Mindset. Rich Dad Poor Dad walks you through Robert Kiyosaki's journey of learning how to become rich because he talks about how he had two different dads, his rich dad and his poor dad. His rich dad was his best friend's dad who taught him how to become rich, and his poor dad was his biological father who worked very hard as a teacher but didn't know how to actually become rich. Right below the title of the book, it tells you what the book is about. It says what the rich teach the kids about money that the poor and the middle class do not. Robert Kiyosaki talks about how he grew up in a poor and middle class house, so he never learned about money through his poor dad, and his poor dad always told him that you should not worry about money, that he should go to school and get a good degree, that way he could become financially successful, while his rich dad, his friend's father, told him that you need to understand money, that way you can become rich. What I want to focus on today is really understanding the difference between being rich and being wealthy, because there is a difference between the two. But before I do that, I need you to do me a quick favor and smash that thumbs up button below. So I didn't grow up learning about money. My parents are immigrants from a state in India called Punjab, and like most Indian parents, my parents told me that if I wanted to become successful, I need to become a doctor because doctors make a lot of money, and if I become a doctor, I'll make a lot of money, which means I will be rich. And if I'm rich, I'll be able to take care of my parents, I'll be able to take care of my family, I'll be able to support my community, and I'll be able to live a great life. And as you can tell by me being on YouTube, I am not a doctor. So I ended up reading the book Rich Dad Poor Dad for the first time when I was a senior in high school because somehow my dad came across this book and he gave it to me, and no one in my family really had this type of financial education. I didn't grow up learning about money or investing or anything like that. But I read this book when I was a senior in high school, and this was the first time I ever read a real chapter book cover to cover. I grew up hating reading. Like, English was my second language, and when I was growing up, I was always told that, my grades in English don't matter as much because if I just do good in math and science, then I'll be able to get into medical school. And at home, we spoke Punjabi, which is my native language, so I didn't grow up being super passionate about reading. It got really bad when I was in middle school because I was doing good in pretty much all of my classes except for English. Like, if you looked at my report card, it'd be like science, A, math, A+, history, A-, English, D. Education was very important in my house. So if I came home with an A-, that was considered bad. And if I came home with a D, even if it was English, that was not acceptable. And when you have immigrant parents, you are disciplined in kind of a unique way. You can't really talk about it too much nowadays because of the PC culture that we're in, but I'll put it this way. Discipline in an immigrant's house like my house was when your mom's hand met your right cheek. I'll study harder next time. So my dad gave me this Rich Dad Poor Dad book and I threw it in my room with all my other books because I can't even read books that I'm required to read for school. How am I supposed to read a book for fun? So I threw this book in my room, and now I had to go to India to visit my family. This was before international flights had individual TVs in every seat. Back then, if you wanted to entertain yourself for a 20-hour flight, you had to bring books or a Game Boy. I don't know why, but when I was packing, I threw my Game Boy, I threw some homework, and I threw this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, into my backpack. I don't know why I put the book in there, but I'm very glad I did. A few hours into this long 20-hour journey to India, I got tired of playing Pokemon on my Game Boy, so I decided to pull out this book. And interestingly, I kind of enjoyed it. Remember, I had never really been exposed to money or financial education or investing before this book. So this book opened my eyes to a whole new side of the world that I didn't know existed. He talks a lot about the difference between being rich and being poor. And he says that it starts with your mindset, because if you don't understand how to look at money the right way, you will never have the opportunity to become rich. Now, personally, I don't agree with everything Robert says. But for somebody who has never been exposed to finance or money or financial education before, that book really opened my eyes and got me thinking about a whole world of money that I had never thought of before. Well, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, wrote an article where he talks about the difference between being rich and being wealthy. I thought this was very interesting because the title of the book is Rich Dad Poor Dad and it teaches you how to become rich, but it turns out, according to this article, that it's more important to become wealthy than it is to become rich. I'll actually read it to you. What he says is, many people think that being rich and being wealthy is the same thing, but that's not true. Rich people have a lot of money, but wealthy people don't worry about money. Another way to put that is you can measure a rich person with how many dollars they have, but you can measure a wealthy person with how much time they have. He goes on to say that when you're rich, you have a lot of money, but you also have a lot of expenses. You might have a lot of credit card debt, a car payment, a mortgage, private school tuition. So you have a lot of money coming in from your income, your salary, whatever it is. You're rich and you look like you're rich because you have a lot of nice things, but you're one small step away from being broke because if the income stopped coming in, your richness is gone. This is what he calls the rat race, where you make money just to make your payments. You're constantly spinning your wheels, and the harder you spin your wheels, the more money you make, and the more money you make, the more your expenses go up, so you never really have an opportunity to become wealthy, because anytime you make more money, your expenses go up, and you're constantly spinning your wheels trying to earn more money. That way you can live a better life, but you never actually build any wealth because it requires you to constantly earn money. That way you can keep making your payments. That's why he calls it a rat race. You see this very often with people who have big salaries. So executives, doctors, lawyers, professionals, athletes. These are people who have big incomes, big salaries, and you can have a big house and a nice car, but if you have no investments and you're living paycheck to paycheck with your rich income, well, you really don't have any wealth, because if the income went away, you don't have this anymore. Wealthy is a little bit different. According to Robert, you can measure wealth with an equation. How long would you be able to survive if your income stopped coming in? So if you have $20,000 in the bank right now and your monthly expenses are $5,000 a month, your wealth is 4 months worth. But if you have $5,000 worth of expenses, the same as before, but now you have $5,000 worth of income coming in every single month from your investments, now your wealth is infinite because your investments are paying your expenses, and you are wealthy because you don't have to physically work to earn that income. Wealth is measured in time, not dollars. It's not what car you drive or what house you live in, but how much freedom do you have? What investments do you have? Because these investments are making you money without you physically having to go to work or do something to get paid. This is your money making you money. When you have this type of wealth, you have different streams of income that help support and build your wealth. Richness is just what you have because of how much money you're making from your job right now. Your wealth is measured in time. If you lost your job today, how long would you be able to go without running into a financial crisis? Your richness is measured in dollars. How much dollars do you have today, and how many dollars will you have tomorrow, and how many nice things can you buy with those dollars right now? This is why so many millionaires are miserable, because they're rich, but they're not wealthy. They're making a lot of money, and they have a whole bunch of nice things, but if you have no free time, what's the point? I mean, you're constantly spinning your wheels, that way you can have all the nice stuff, but you have no investments, you have no wealth. You are busting your butt to earn every single penny that you have, but you have no freedom to show for it. Now, let me clarify something where I think a little bit different. It is not bad to have a job. Not everybody is meant to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody is meant to be a business owner. It is very hard to be an entrepreneur, and it is very draining, and not everybody is meant for that. But what I think everybody should be doing, whether you're an entrepreneur or an employee, is you need to be investing some of your money. This is a requirement. This requires you to live below your means. That way you can expand your means, because when you live below your means, you have some extra money left over. Now, when you had this extra money left over, you can either just put it in the bank, or you can go and spend it on something else, or you can invest it to build your wealth. This is what we talk about so much on our YouTube channel, which is why if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that. But investing is all about building this wealth, because you're taking a little bit of money that you're making every single month and you're putting it to work. That way you can build this time. At this point, there's a lot of people that are probably watching this video getting angry, thinking something like, but there's so much more to life than being rich or being wealthy. There's so much more to life than money. And yes, you are absolutely 100% right. Money is just one small piece of your life. If you're not happy or if you're not healthy, then yeah, having more money is not going to fix that situation. But if you do not have money, it doesn't matter how happy you are. It doesn't matter how healthy you are. If you do not have money to pay your bills, if you don't have money to put a roof over your head, if you don't have money to take your kids onto the vacation they really want to go to, you are going to be stressed and you are going to have financial problems. Anytime a conversation comes up regarding money, so many people put up a smoke screen and they say things like, you should not worry about money, you should not talk about money, you should not stress about money, because they don't know how to handle money themselves. But if money really didn't matter, then why are you going to work every single day to earn a paycheck? Are you just doing it for fun? Because if you are, then tell your boss to stop paying you. But if you are doing it to make money, then you need to know how to use your money. That way you can build this wealth. That way you can have this freedom. That way you can live your life the way you want. Money does matter, but it only matters if you understand how it plays a part in your life. You got to stop selling yourself short and making up excuses for yourself by saying things like, oh, I don't want to worry about money because rich people are greedy and I don't want to be one of those people. Well, if you don't want to be one of those people, then how about you become rich or you become wealthy and you have a lot of money? That way you can help a whole lot of people. The more money you have, the more you can do. The more dollars you have, the more people you can feed. But it all starts with the right financial education first. You're already making money. Now you just got to know how to use your money. That way you can work towards the right goal of building your wealth. And kind of some behind the scenes information that we haven't really released to the public yet is this is one of the reasons why we're kind of rebranding our tagline to why Money Minds Rethink Rich. Because the whole idea is to rethink what it means to be rich. Because for some people, yeah, it might be a dollar figure to become rich, but for a lot of other people, being rich isn't just a dollar figure. It's the freedom that you have. It's the wealth that you have. And it's the ability to do what you want on your own terms. When you have the minority mindset, it's all about thinking different. And that includes rethinking what it means to be rich, because so many people have the goal just to become rich because you think, man, if I just had $2 million, I would be free. But we don't understand what that really means. If you enjoyed this video, here's the video that I think you'll love, and while you're at it, subscribe to our YouTube channel and join our free finance and business newsletter. And as always, keep hustling. Money is important, okay? We are not one of those theoretical channels that just talk about things that don't make any sense in reality because you need money in order to survive. Anybody who tells you money is not important is either broke or they're delusional.